Welcome to Deep Thought. Pay attention to the media. I'm going to tell you what, this past week I talked about all these dark superhero series, and, yesterday I talked about possible super soldiers on the horizon, but we wouldn't know about it. But I'm going to tell you something with the media. And when I say media, I honestly pay more attention to the fiction that's promoted. Not the regular news. Yes, pay attention to that, definitely, but pay attention to the fiction a little bit more. Because one thing with the regular news, a lot of it's simply propaganda. A lot of it is simply propaganda. I mean, that's just how it is. In fact, if you want to get an idea about who's controlling that propaganda, when you watch a news story, any channel, I don't care what channel it is, pay attention to the commercials. And I've talked about that before back in high school, where we were given an assignment by, a teacher who had fought in Vietnam. He was an officer, volunteered for Vietnam. But something happened over there that totally changed him. He gave new meaning to the word anti-government. That's the type of guy, because President Reagan was in office, he said if he died and Reagan was in heaven, he didn't want to go to heaven. That's how much he was against everything. But he would teach us how to really look at things. And he gave us an assignment. He said to watch the ABC Evening News, but don't pay attention to the news. Pay attention to the commercials and to tell him what we saw. So that's one thing. So if you want an idea whose agenda is being promoted on any type of news network, I don't care who it is. I don't care whether they call themselves conservative or liberal, because at a deeper level, let me just go there, and I ain't gonna get too deep into it. They all on the same team. I'll leave it at that. But here's the thing: you pay attention to it, you get an idea whose propaganda that you're seeing. All right, and that's kind of obvious, but at the same time, they are reporting real things. I'm gonna just be real. Let's be real. They reporting real things, real happenings. But it depends on whose agenda is in control of why they're reporting on that particular thing, but skipping over something else. Like a basic thing, and this been happening in Black America ever since media has been around. Promote the bad people, the people doing knucklehead things, acting trifling, but only rarely do a story about one of these black kids who getting multiple scholarships, or one of these black kids with a recorded high IQ. Indeed, it's to the point now, only time you see them is on social media. And despite the reach of social media, it's still a limit there, because anybody can promote anything, so people may not take it seriously. But they say it on CNN or even Fox, people are like, oh, okay. So that's the thing. That's the propaganda part. But then let's get into the fiction. I'm going to tell you what, there was a former CIA agent, John Stockwell. He wrote a book, In Search of Enemies. He said if he wanted an idea which country was about to be invaded or something, he would just pay attention to the movies. I'm going to tell you what, the best way to promote something, to change people's mind, is not through their left brain, which is more logical, more reasonable. It's through their right brain. Like I talked about super soldiers. Now let's say the government's been working on a group of super soldiers and they're ready to reveal them. But they ain't gonna do it just yet. They've been around, they probably been doing stuff, and for whatever reason, it could be 1,000 reasons, they say, you know what, you need to let the people know. They probably just letting enemies know. But all of a sudden, you'll probably start seeing a bunch of movies that have super soldiers in it. Even a TV series. Boom. In fact, always pay attention to that. In fact, I'm going to tell y'all something now. This has happened, and I really think this was a propaganda thing. And it was done through media. President Barack Obama. See, understand something. Let me hit y'all with something. There's no accidents with presidents. There's no accidents. There's no mavericks. There's nothing. There's always a plan in place. Always. Even for people who supported Donald Trump and thinking he was a maverick or something. Oh, there was a plan for him in place already. There was a plan in place. Indeed, to put it like this, Barack Obama and Donald Trump would seem two opposites of the same thing. But this gets into some deeper stuff. They actually distant cousins. Extremely distant, but still, they are part of the same. They have a common female ancestor centuries ago. And in fact, they found that with all presidents. Now, I didn't see that report with Biden. I didn't see anything with Biden. But they might have just gotten smart and say, okay, we ain't going to point it out. I don't know. Somebody could check for me or something. But here's the thing. They always have a plan in place already. Indeed, if you look, let's talk about Trump, whether you like him, dislike him, regardless of what you feel about the past election. Remember, there were several episodes of a cartoon series, The Simpsons, that had Donald Trump as president. I want y'all to think about that. Like years before it happened, they would show Donald Trump as president, Donald Trump as president. And some people would see it and say, oh, they predicted the future. Did they? Or did somebody have a plan in place already? And people might say, well, he did this, he did that. I'm going to throw out one thing that I thought about that he put in place, regardless how you feel about his policies. 2 words: Space Force. Space Force. And nobody's said anything, and he didn't really catch any hell. They paying attention to everything else, but he put out Space Force. And we're not going to get into argument of other stuff he did. I mean, good or bad or whatever. Forget that. Because there's always a bigger plan behind everything. Politicians are really hitting in for more powerful forces. I will say that. So you got Space Force out. And I thought about that because according to UFO groups, people into those communities, they say it's in space. There's something that's called Solar Warden, a space fleet out there already. And it could be a situation where they say, you know what, we need to make this public, but we can't just say it suddenly. They might say something like, yeah, we're building some ships out here or something. And all of a sudden it's like, boom. Indeed, you're starting to see a lot of stuff in the mainstream media about UFOs. I want y'all to think about that thing. So they could have been like, all right, we're going to have to publicly put something out there, sneak it in on people. All right, Space Force, but we need somebody to bring in Space Force. Oh, hey, wait, Donald Trump, he can get away with it. I want y'all to think about that, regardless of what you feel about him, whether you love him to death or hate him. Always don't get off the personality. Get off of the personality. Look at the agenda, what was accomplished while they were in office. Pay attention to Biden now, whether you hate him, love him. Don't get caught up in his personality, nothing he say, how quiet he seems. Pay attention what's happening. Because I'll just say this, powerful people, they plan decades in advance, and they pay both sides. Let's be real, both political parties are one political party. I'm just going to say that. I don't care if I get in trouble. I'm just going to be honest. They the same party. They're different wings of the same party. But anyway, pay attention to the media. For every little thing, when you see something, just when I'm paying attention to the media, I'm always like, boom, what's going on? Now, I got off all on that tangent. Let's go back to Barack Obama. Okay, he was elected president in 2008. First of all, I knew to look for him when he had a this little known, he wasn't even a senator at the time. I'm going to say this again. He wasn't even a senator at the time. He hadn't even been elected to the Senate. But he gets a primetime speech at the Democratic Convention in 2004 that just blew people away. But even before that, in 2001, there was one of my favorite TV series, 24. And it started out with a black man running for president. And for 3 seasons, he was a popular character on that show. Till they killed him, and then they replaced him with another black man. And indeed, on 24, close to around 2016, they were doing 24. It was going to be a woman president. it was going to be a woman president. And I was like, but there was like a actor strike, some type of strike around that time, so that kind of threw that off. Oh, and incidentally, if somebody say, well, if that was the case, how come she didn't win and stuff? Oh, they take all angles to stuff, and I'll leave it at that. There's always an agenda. Trust me, they make sure they win. The days make sure they win. But my point is, pay attention to the media. Whatever they promote, sit there and like look at it and say, okay, they got this type of character promoting this thing. What they trying to promote? It influences. What's the agenda? Because every single thing that's in the media, it had to have big money behind it to get it out. It takes a lot to get a movie out or a TV series, a whole lot. People don't realize for every 20 TV series, new series they see or whatever, no matter how big cable gets, there's always stuff that don't make the floor, don't make the cut. And there's always a plan. Trust me. I want y'all to think about that, all right? I know this sounds like a conspiracy or anything, but start checking stuff. There's always a plan. You know? There's always something. Stuff isn't random. You know? Stuff isn't random at the biggest level. And there's more random at the grassroots level. But you notice how some of these grassroots people don't make it to a bigger level. Just saying. So anyway, that's all I got for now. Something for y'all to think about. Peace and blessings.